Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming at you with a brand new deck profile, postcode The Duelist, and today I'll be showing you guys my Trickstar OTK slash FTK deck. The Lollipop Stars are finally here, and I'm so excited to bring this deck profile to you guys. First off, I want to give a big thank you to Kenzie. We're on our fourth take of this right now, because my phone has been really stupid, so she's been a real trooper, so thank you to her for recording. But yeah, Trickstars, oh my gosh, they're a lot of fun. I tested them out at locals yesterday, had a lot of fun, did relatively well. My record wasn't too great in the tournament just because I lost all 3 die rolls and also had a lot of, my opponents had answers to my burn OTKs when I was going second, so not a whole lot you can do about that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the build, especially being a beta build, but as things progress, I'll probably make some tweaks here and there, as I'll talk about in the video, and I'll probably do some updates here soon. And then, of course, once the Megatins come out, I'll do a profile of the Wind Witch version, because that version's also really cool. It has like 3 or 4 different ways it can win, either by the Indestructible Crystal Wing, by the burn damage, by the Droll and Lock combo, or even just by battle damage from the Trickstars. They can actually spam the field and do a good amount of battle damage pretty quickly if it snowballs like that. So we're going to get right into this deck profile before I ramble anymore. So for the Trickstar monsters, we have the standard free Candina and the free Lycoris. Candina is your Strauss of the deck. You normal summon it, and you search any of your Trickstar cards that you need. Then also, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, after it resolves, they take 200 damage. Keep in mind that any of the effects of Trickstar cards do not activate. They are continuous and they do not start a chain, so there's something to keep in mind. With Lycoris, you can activate its effect from hand as a quick effect. You target a Trickstar monster you control aside from Candina. You special summon it and then return the Trickstar monster back to hand. The thing to keep in mind with that is if you have a Candina on board with 3 Lycoris, you can activate all 3 Lycoris targeting the same Candina. And then when the chain resolves, the first Lycoris will special summon itself and bounce back to Candina. And then the other 2 will also special summon themselves since the requirement for targeting a Trickstar monster was already met. So it's actually a really quick and easy way to get all 3 of your Lycorises on board since it is your main OTK enabler. And then with Lycoris, anytime your opponent adds a card to their hand, whether by drawing, whether by searching, whether by getting back from graveyard back to hand, they take 200 damage for each card that they add. So with 3 Lycoris and doing the whole hand rip and draw combos with Reincarnation, Disturbance Strategy, Present card, the burn damage does add up really quickly. And this is the Lycoris is the way that you get off your burn OTKs, especially having 2 or 3 of her on the board at the same time. And then I don't play any Lilybell. It's something you can definitely consider playing. It's a pretty solid card. Being able to attack directly, being able to special summon herself when she's added to hand by any means, then also being able to recover back Trickstar monsters, but she doesn't really do anything for the burn OTK, which is what I wanted to focus on with this deck, so that's why I don't play her, but I may add her into the build later. Then for the final monster, we have the free Droll and Lock bird. Here is an alternate win condition if we're not able to get off the full burn OTK. Basically, if you have 2 of the hand rip cards, or if you have 1 and then your opponent adds something from deck to hand, you can pull off the Droll and Lock combo where they'll get rid of their entire hand and then they won't draw anything, and that's just basically an auto win if they're going second. So yeah, the Droll and Lock's in here as an alternate win condition. It's just really, really busted. For spells, we have the free Light Stage and the free Terraforming, pretty standard. With Light Stage, it adds any of your Trickstar monsters you need from deck to hand, and it is not once per turn. I've resolved 3 of these in a turn a lot because it's just so consistent to see these. Also, anytime your Trickstar monsters do any kind of damage, burn, or battle damage, it adds an extra 200 on that. Again, that's a continuous effect that does not activate. And then it does have a secondary effect to where if your opponent has a set spell or trap card, you can target it, and then they cannot activate it until the end phase. And then during the end phase, they either have to activate it if they can, or else it goes to the graveyard. So that's actually a good way to freeze up certain back row, like say a possible Solemn Strike for the whole turn to get off your own plays. And then during the end phase, if they can't activate it, you just get to get rid of a back row for free. So yeah, Light Stage overall, really, really good card. Same with the free Terraforming. Next we have what I think is the most busted card in the deck, the free Chain Summoning. It is so easy to build your chains up to a chain link 3 to get chain summoning off. You do not necessarily have to have both Candina plus Lycris in hand right away. You can easily just have the Lycris effect, and then just activate anything that starts a chain, like a draw card or Dark Room of Nightmare, anything like that. Chain Lycris to it, and then chain summoning, and then you get to summon, normal summon, Candina 3 different times to get 3 different searches, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to get you more than enough burn damage per game. So yeah, the chain summoning is just absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous cards, we have the free Dark Room of Nightmare. Anytime you do any kind of damage, except for the Dark Room of Nightmare effect itself, it does another 300 on top of that. So the chains on this can be absolutely insane, building up to like 6, 8, 10, or even 12 in a chain on its own with all the burn damage you do. And this card alone, even just having 1 copy of it, can get you enough burn damage you need for game when you otherwise wouldn't have it with what you had previously. So Dark Room of Nightmare, just another really solid card for getting you there for the burn damage. Then for draw cards, we have the Triple Into the Void, double Contract with Dawn 1000, double Dark Will Dealings, and then a double Pod Desires. You could play things like Card Demise and Pod Duality if you want, but I chose not to because they do conflict with the Lycris Spell Summon effect. Into the Void itself does kind of conflict with the Draw and Lock Bird, but it's kind of one of those one or the other things. If you already have the Draw and Lock combo in your hand, then I would suggest not activating Into the Void. But Into the Void on its own, just a really good draw card that can get you into your combo when you otherwise wouldn't have it. Same thing with like Dark Will Dealings. It can get rid of dead cards you have in hand. Contract with Dawn 1000 just gets you 1,000 points closer to the game, while also giving you a card, giving your opponent a card, which is extra damage for Lycris, so it's really good. And then of course the 2 Pod Desires can just get you there sometimes when you otherwise wouldn't have it. Even though there is a chance that you can banish multiple Lycris, you usually do what you can to search off as many Lycrises as you can before you activate this, so that's usually not an issue with the deck. So for traps, for the burn cards, we have the free Reincarnation, the free Disturbance Strategy, only the 2 present card because it's only once per turn unfortunately, and then the 2 Secret Barrel. So free Reincarnation is pretty obvious, it's just a ridiculous card. Banishing your opponent's entire hand and then they draw the same number of cards, that's already really good. And then when it's in graveyard, you can banish it to special summon any of your Trickstars from graveyard, and that's not even once per turn. Like it's just ridiculous. It's a card you're almost always searching off a Candina when you need it. The free Disturbance Strategy, just another good hand rip card. Shuffle the whole hand and draw the same number of cards. Present card, it may sound like it's not as good as these two because it says the opponent discards their whole hand and then draws 5, but that actually can be really good for resetting your opponent's hand and guaranteeing that you get 1,000 damage off of Lycris, especially going second when your opponent will just like empty out their whole hand and then you don't have nearly enough ammo to get your burn damage off. So present card can actually be really good for that. I may consider bumping up to 3 because it is a really good card. And the 2 Secret Barrel, it basically does the same thing as Lycris in trap form. Does 200 times the number of cards in hand, so it's pretty good. I may consider adding in Ring of Destruction and Blazing Mirror Force in the future because they're pretty good burn cards, but we'll see. So yeah, that's it for the main deck, 40 cards. For the extra deck, which I don't really go into that often, but it's still nice to have some options if you need them. Of course, the 1 Trickstar Holy Angel. She's easy to go into if you want to. She actually is pretty good. She can protect your Trickstars. She does burn damage when you summon Trickstars, and then when your Trickstars do effect damage, she gains attack points as well. So she can be pretty good, but you don't really go into her that often. For rank 3s with Lycris, we have the 1 Mecha-Equipped Mechanier, Acid Golem, Nightmare Shark if you need that last bit of damage per game, and then the 1 Break Sword. For rank 4s, we have the 1 Dweller, the 1 Tsukiyomi since our Candinas are light, the 1 Castel, Gaga Cowboy since we are playing a burn deck, the 1 Samurai for extra damage, Giant Hand for negating monster effects, Utopia and Utopia Lightning, Black Ship of Corn again for more burn damage, and then finally the 1 Tornado Dragon. Then for the side deck, this is kind of work in progress kind of side deck, but in a rough sketch, but pretty happy with what's here so far. It's all decent in theory. So we had a 2 Ghost Ogre, just a solid card in general against most matchups. If I had Ash Blossoms, I'd probably find a way to put those in here, especially in the Wind Witch version. You could play Honest as well, but for now, Ghost Ogre is pretty solid. Along with the 1 Maxi, just a really, really dumb hand trap that honestly needs to get banned, but that's just my opinion. We do play a Kaiju engine to out big boards going second, so we had the 1 Gameciel, 1 Kumungus, and 1 Jizukiru, along with the 2 Interrupted Kaiju Slumbers. For back row hate, we have the 2 MST and 2 Twin Twisters. These also are good as well for building up your chains for chain summoning if you need it. And while you don't like discarding cards that much, you do, like with Twin Twisters, you side in going second. So you usually have that extra card that you can usually get rid of if it means getting rid of 2 back row. Because things like Solemn Strike, Royal Decree, Warning, yeah, there's a decent amount of cards that actually give you trouble with this deck. And speaking of Solemn Strike, the final side card is the free Solemn Strike. Really good going first if you know your opponent's going to have a bunch of hand traps. Just be able to negate those Ash Blossoms, negate those Ghost Ogres to make sure your plays go through. So that is it for this brand new deck profile on my Trickstars, my Lollipop Stars. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you to Kenzie for recording behind the camera. She was a real trooper. Give her some love. So yeah, catch you guys next time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to... I want to make a toilet noise. There we go.
That's the way to end the video.